Welcome to the High Value Sales Show of Eversprint.com. I'm Malcolm Louie, the managing member of Eversprint, and today we're speaking with Tom Douglas, the CEO of JMARK Business Solutions, a provider of IT services and support that helps organizations create success through properly implemented technology. Welcome to the call, Tom.
Oh, thank you very much. It's nice to be on the call, Malcolm.
Tom, you grew your company's revenue from $10.6 million in 2014 to $17.8 million in 2017, a 68% increase, and in 2018, you hit around $19 million. Before we talk about how you grew your company so fast, can you briefly share what your company does beyond my quick intro and how your company differs from the competition?
Absolutely. We are a managed services company, which means a lot of things to a lot of different individuals or organizations. In our world, it means that we are a managed IT service provider, so we replace or assume responsibility of an IT environment for a business who either doesn't need a full-time IT staff or has an incomplete IT staff environment. So in other words, if they get tired of managing geeks or they have trouble maintaining the talent within their organization, having trouble understanding all of the complexities of what it means to properly run IT in a business environment, we step in, we assume responsibility for that management on a day-to-day basis. So we're proactively monitoring the servers, the workstations, the firewall, the security. We optimize the condition of the PCs so that everybody's computer has maximum uptime and performance. And we create a 5-year strategy for the technology to ensure that there's budget alignment, that there's alignment in where the business is going in the future, and that facilitates a win-win environment for both us because we know what we're implementing and supporting, and for the client because there's no surprises in their world, and we can properly protect their data, which, as you know, has become one of the major intellectual property components of any organization. It's years ago, the high asset values of an organization was in brick and mortar and in physical assets. And today, many of those assets have become digital. And so protecting that data, both in a security environment and in a backup, disaster recovery, business continuity environment, becomes just critical for success. And one of the things that we say is that behind every CEO is a good IT environment. And our goal is to come in and make sure that IT runs well.
Yeah, when I was working on investment banking, the IT department was a crucial department, right? Because everything revolves around it. But in a way, I find it's a difficult job to do as well, because rarely do people say great job, right? When things are working well. But when things don't work well, boy, the stuff hit the fan at that point, and the IT guys are hearing it.
That is a fact. Yeah, we do our best to make sure that we don't get those calls, but hardware fails, software fails. That's part of the world that we live in, and so our job is to respond to those situations and to make sure that people know what's going on and that we get a quick resolution to the issues when they come up.
Right. Now, how does your company differ from the other IT services providers out there?
Well, there's a few different areas that we focus that are different than our competitors. I would say the number one area is one of our mantras is people first, technology second. At the end of the day, to run any successful organization, you have to have great people. And for most organizations, that's also the biggest expense item for their organization. And so we want to keep people as productive as possible. We want to optimize their work environment and keep them going. And to do that, you have to be conscious and sensitive to the fact that there's different personalities, there's different requirements, and different expectations for individuals to facilitate that success. So our job is to go in and actually understand the personality, the people side of the business, how they want to operate, how they want to collaborate, how they come together as an organization, and then facilitate the technology around the people rather than taking technology, throwing it in a big bucket, if you will, and then forcing people to morph around it or to learn how to operate as a slave to the technology. It's the backwards way of doing things. And so by always putting people first in front of the technology, it's helped to really empower us to grow and be successful and have such a high client retention ratio.
So when you say putting people first, you're talking about putting the client's people first, or does that apply equally to your own team?
Yeah, equally to our own team. We wouldn't be here without the great people in our organization. And so we lift our employees up. We have one of the strongest cultures in any organization that operates like we do. We believe really strongly in our core values, and we hire and even occasionally have to fire based on core values. And so we create a sense of teamwork and alignment in our organization of what success is, both for the individuals in our company and our clients. And so cumulatively, that group of people becomes our primary focus. You know, our goal is to fall in love with people and not products and technology. And by doing that, it creates a win-win environment for everyone involved. And it's a lot of fun because our team becomes really close friends with our clients, and we hear about grandkids and we hear about vacations and special trips that people go on because we become integrated as a part of our client's business. And that's critical to success because we don't want anyone to be, one, intimidated by technology or afraid to ask a question, or for the experience of getting help to be a poor one. That experience needs to be very positive. So it's driving the engagement, driving productivity, and making sure that people can be successful.
So my next question is, what were the three biggest drivers of your success, right? You grew your business over the past 4 years from 10.6 million, and you almost doubled it to around 19 million in 2018. It sounds like your people are the biggest driver. Would you concur?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. We're blessed beyond any imagination or anticipation of what the future would have been for us, and it's all around those people. It's good people coming to the table doing great work.
Right. And what would you say were drivers number 2 and number 3?
I think market opportunity, the complexity of technology has become more than a traditional IT department or 1 or 2 people or a group of even 10 or 15 people oftentimes can keep up with and manage. In our organization, we have the opportunity to bring together subject matter experts from every area of technology with over 80 engineers in our company. That gives us that flexibility to say, okay, we need an SME subject matter expert for antivirus management and backup management and server management. And so we can bring all of those resources to the table to create an optimized environment. So we're taking the complexity of technology and we're bearing the burden of the complexity so that we can simplify it for our clients. And so I think that's probably number 2 for us is recognizing that need. And 2, just a really ambitious goal to serve others and make sure that their businesses are empowered. Ultimately, we have to, as an organization, recognize that we exist because of our clients' success. And so if we focus on that success and utilize the technology to do that, then it puts us into that win-win environment that we spoke of. And so I think it's that third component would be the passion for our client success.
Okay. Can you elaborate a bit more on the passion for your client success? How is that defined? How does your team help with that?
Well, with any business, the best way for our business to grow is if our clients grow. And we recognized early on that we have it's really a gift to be able to help people with their technology and achieve the things that they want to be able to do in their business. And we want to remove the burden of technology as being a barrier for their growth. And so by putting comprehensive technology strategies and plans together for years into the future, it helps our clients to one, control costs, which is always important, but more important than that is to have a strategy to use technology to be a market differentiator for our clients. So how does technology in their business actually drive a unique selling proposition or a unique product capability or a unique support environment so that our clients can be more successful? When we remove any barriers to success, and at least in the technology side of the house, it really empowers our clients to grow and to be a better organization overall. And so that's our goal. And the passion around that is serving people. Ultimately, the personality types that we hire into our organization, the methodologies that we bring in, the processes that we train, all of those things are around having this passion for serving other people and making a difference. We're fortunate to be able to support our clients who generate over $1 billion in revenue across the base, much more than that nowadays. And so being having a goal of being a servant leader in that arena and helping others to be successful and seeing their businesses thrive because of what we've had the chance to help them do is a real gift, and we get a lot of personal enjoyment from that. And so instilling that passion inside the business helps everyone come together and have a clear vision of what it means to drive forward and be successful.
Right. Okay. Now, you talk a little bit, you mentioned about using technology to be a driver of the client's business. Can you maybe give an examples of that beyond simply just making sure everyone has the Office suite available on their PC that's up to date?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's about, there's several different ways. It's about making sure that the right applications are available. Most productivity in a business is driven not from, Microsoft Office or those are ancillary and supporting activities, but it's the line of business applications that are unique to each business. That could be a CRM or an ERP software, but whatever it is, a practice management solution, that technology needs to be available on the platform that's appropriate for the client, delivered into a mobile device, delivered into their PC, delivered into a terminal services or Citrix environment, whatever is appropriate to make sure that they can maximize their productivity so that they can serve their clientele in the most effective way. And then obviously making sure that their data tells the right stories. So, whether that's their KPI management or business intelligence or whatever is appropriate to drive productivity inside their business, then we can help them to facilitate an infrastructure that delivers those kind of outcomes. And so our goal is to do that and then create unique things like in banks where we've helped the teller environment move from the traditional, sitting behind the desk or sitting behind a standing desk where you're helping people from a PC where they can walk around with the tablet and they can sit down and have coffee and they can show the screen and they can do some of those unique capabilities in a banking environment to change the experience and make people more engaged as a client base of theirs so that their clients' experiences also improve. And so those unique kind of knowledge points within each industry that help us to be successful.
So are your services more of the, I'm sure I'm going to get the terminology wrong here, so correct me when I do. Is it more of a back office sort of function, or are you also helping companies that provide their own service through information technology? Like, for example, if a company wanted to build out an e-commerce platform, is that something that you would do as well? Or are you more on the side of helping their employees with the tools to be productive?
Yeah, more on the latter of helping the employees with the right tools. We have partners that we bring in when there's specific projects like an e-commerce project, or if they want to take their CRM and migrate it to an online platform or whatever it may be, we bring the right partners. So our job is to facilitate that safe infrastructure on the back end to simplify it as much as possible, and then monitor and manage it on a literally a second by second basis. We have thousands of devices around the country that check in with us every 30 seconds and tell us about the health of their environment. And so if there's a PC that has a virus, or it's got a corrupt file, or there's a server that's performing poorly, or whatever it is, those alerts come into our environment, and then we monitor them and respond to those monitors in such a way so that we can jump in and hopefully fix things before they have an impact on the user.
Okay, got it. Now, you talked before about, and I really like the phrase here, simplifying technology for the clients, right? So that they don't need to worry so much about the technology and think more so on working on their business. Can you give some examples of how you've been able to simplify the technology for your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in an enterprise or a small to medium-sized business, it doesn't really matter. There's a whole bunch of geeky things that happen on the back end in order to make an application work. So the databases, the application servers themselves, sometimes web services, all of these things, and when they're engaging with a piece of software to drive their business forward, it can be very, very overwhelming. And we bring the subject matter experts to the table to have those conversations with our clients' vendors and the software vendors to make sure that we build the infrastructure. They don't need to worry about it. We just design the back end, and we can either deploy it from a cloud deployment in our environment, or we can do it from the client's premises, whatever makes the most sense, and then do that. And then we worry about, well, what does it mean to architect it right, back it up, create the appropriate business continuity strategy, all of those things, and then work through the budget challenges and just lay it out in kind of a simple format so that they can see what the impact of their decisions are. If they want servers that are in a high availability environment, yeah, that all sounds good on the surface, but there's a budget challenge oftentimes associated with that. So if you want a hot site, as an example, it's going to more than double the cost of the investment. And so we take all of the complexities of that, simplify it down to a couple of simple choices so that they can see it on paper, draw the diagram so that they can see the workflow in the environment, and then they can make a decision based on business facts rather than based on a bunch of technology jargon that they don't even need to understand, let alone want to invest in to have to learn, rather than focusing on their core business.
Right. Now, how do the business owner, decision makers at your clients, how do they assess that what you're proposing makes sense for them technology-wise? I mean, yes, for them to understand technology is, it could take them years, right, to fully understand it, so they can't really do that.
Sure.
But, how do they become comfortable with the decision of saying, yeah, this sounds like the way to go, even though they really don't know the technology?
Right. Well, it's a matter of building trust. We sell hardware, but that's not what motivates us in business. It's about developing that relationship with the client and having that in place for a long time, and hopefully for years and years and years. And if we were to take advantage of a client, or if we were to do something inappropriate, then that betrays that trust and that long-term relationship. And so it's of no value for us to do those kind of things. Our focus has to be on making sure that we're bringing a trustworthy and honorable proposal to the table, and you have to earn that. So you go to market sometimes and you compare it against online pricing, or you compare it against a competitor's environment. You talk about the differences in plain English and not in geek speak, so that people can understand, okay, if you make this choice and that choice, then it's going to add up to this dollar value, and here's what you're going to get as a product, and we can stand behind that and guarantee it. And as we work through those challenges, eventually we just like you do when you bring on a CIO into a building or into an organization, or you hire a new VP of finance. Over time, you develop a trust and a confidence in that environment. We recognize that we have to earn that trust every day by doing what we say and telling them what we did. And by demonstrating that consistently year over year, then our clients come to trust the decisions and the recommendations that we make with them to make sure that it's in their best interest. And by creating that trust over time, then it empowers them to feel like I don't have to worry about IT. I call JMARK, they solve the problems for me, and I can focus on what it means to be a successful CEO.
Right, exactly. Now, when you say simplify, when you work with a client, you work with them on their 5-year plan, you develop a platform that will grow with them to achieve their 5-year plan. How simple do you make it? When you have your proposal for them, is it all on one page? Is it that simple, or is it still a 100-page document?
Yeah, we obviously have the detail behind it, but we literally break it down into a quarter by quarter plan. So here's the investments that need to be made for the next quarter, whether that's life cycle or upgrades or growth expansions or whatever it may be. And we literally break it down to the line items for workstations, for applications, for servers, and things like that, quarter over quarter, and it's literally a 11 by just a standard 8.5 by 11 page in landscape that shows exactly how much they spend each quarter or need to spend each quarter. And if they say for whatever reason, hey, that's pushing our budget, we can't do it, no problem. We go back to the drawing board. We figure out what we need to adjust, if we need to extend life cycle, if we need to put a project off, whatever that may be. And then ultimately we agree on a whole year's worth of technology planning. We have a 5-year plan, but we agree on a budget cycle for the client. And every quarter we assess and update and evaluate where we came in, budget versus actual, to ensure that we're delivering the best outcome.
So you literally can just present a 11 by 17 piece of paper with the plan for them. You're able to simplify
Yep.
to that degree. Awesome.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And we take thousands of data points together and we pull it into that simple one-page document for the client to make good business choices from.
And it's a mixture of text and images and tables of numbers.
Graphs. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, lately I've been going toward that route too, right? I mean, I do proposals for clients. I'm like thinking, well, maybe I should try to make it, can I put it down on one page instead of giving them a 20-page thing instead? So,
yeah.
All right, awesome. And the very first driver you talked about, the people. And oftentimes I hear that quite often in the interviews I've done, right? People is often one of the three drivers that they mention as to what's been behind the growth. Can you share what your process is for finding and retaining the right people and the best people?
Yeah, sure. Well, first, it starts around our core values, and so really defining those inside of our organization, and not just define them, but live them. We actually have gone so far. We have a JMARK coin where we've minted our core values on the backside of them, so everybody can see them, and then we encourage people to recognize success around those core values or challenges around them. So the core values are honesty, passion, teamwork, excellence, accountability, and fun. And so if you have a situation where somebody has missed a deadline or hit a deadline and done a really good job, whatever it may be, you can take any of those coins. We'll always make more and give them to someone and say, hey man, you really showed great accountability. I know it was a tough timeline. You got it done. I appreciate that. Or, hey man, you did a great job in teamwork. And so the principle behind it is that by giving the coins and doing that peer-to-peer recognition, it reinforces what it means to live the core values within the organization. And as a part of doing that, it creates an environment where we're creating accountability towards those core values on a peer-to-peer level rather than from a manager, subordinate style level, which we don't like. I mean, nobody likes to have a tough conversation with a manager, nor does the manager. But if you can create that accountability sideways, you don't have to have as many of those tough conversations, and it empowers people to improve their peers, recognize their peers, recognize great work that people do within the business, and that empowerment just thrives on itself. And so when one person gets recognized, they want to recognize someone else, and that ping pongs throughout the organization. So starting with it's living those core values. And so when in the hiring process, we're talking about those, and we're asking people to show examples of accountability or examples of teamwork. What does it mean to you to be excellent? And so we go through that process. And then if we find that we bring someone in and we've made a mistake somehow, or they have, and they've come in and they're not exemplifying those core values, we can go back to them and we can say, hey man, we sat down and we had a conversation around our core values. We know that you're weak in this accountability area, and we give people an opportunity to step up and learn from that. We coach them through it. And if they still aren't the right person for the organization, then sometimes we separate. But by doing that, it protects the rest of the team from having to work with someone who doesn't have the same set of beliefs in the future of the business that everyone else does. And so it's really hard to do, but you have to get rid of the bad eggs in order to make sure that you protect the healthy people in the company.
Yep. Now, for from an interviewing perspective, say I was interviewing for your company, and then you asked me examples of your core values, right? Honesty, passion, accountability, teamwork, fun. Those are common questions that people can prep for, right, and have answers ready.
Sure.
In general, right? Many companies ask along those things. So how do you ascertain that what they say is truly what they are during the interview?
Well, our interview process is not easy. We try not to make it hard, but we don't make it easy either, because we do it a full online form that people fill out, and just kind of get some ancillary information there, and then the senior person in our HR team does a cultural interview, and they go through that process, and if they pass through that, then they go on and they meet with a hiring manager and potentially with an entire team. And so there's a series of interviews to make sure that you're getting consistent answers and the behaviors are consistent, and when it's never the first answer that tells you whether whether or not someone's the fit. It's always the third or fourth answer or question that drives you to get to the truth. Give me an example. Give me another example. Well, how did, in that example, tell me more about it. And so by drilling down to multiple levels, you can find out if somebody's just, BSing you, or if they're really sharing a good example of those core values. And so, it's taken us a long time. We failed many, many times in that process, but have gotten fairly adept at it over time, and making sure that we continue to probe until we get clarity on the truth.
Right. Yep. Definitely. Peeling back the layers of the onion, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. Yep. Now, looking ahead a little bit, 2019, what do you see as your biggest opportunities and the biggest challenges to achieve those opportunities?
Well, finding good people is always a challenge for us. Because we are in a field that is in high demand, that creates its own set of challenges. And then when you run through the core values filter, that weeds out several others. And so that's always going to be a challenge for us in our business. That not even in the next few years, I would say forever, that's going to continue to be something that we have to work on to combat it, both on the opportunity side and because we need to do it. We build people that are inexperienced from within, and so it starts with an apprenticeship program, and then they start at a junior level in the company, and we build those up, and had a lot of success taking people from an internship style environment all the way up to be managers in our company. And so I think building people from within and having a passion for people's success helps to drive that. We give people who wouldn't normally have the opportunity to either get in the field or become a business professional. We like to give those opportunities to folks and let them come in and be successful. And so I think that's both the threat and the opportunity for us in the future. And I think, the biggest opportunities are that in the industry, technology continues to be more complex, with all the security requirements and some of the new regulations coming out and all the challenges around that. If we as an organization can continue to step in and simplify and make it more focused for a business to be successful, more possible for a business to be successful because we bear that burden for them, then I think that there's a growing opportunity for us to continue to grow and thrive the way that we have in the past.
Okay. Now, we haven't had much discussion about how you grew your client base from a marketing and sales perspective. Can you shed some light on the challenges that you see there and what you're doing to overcome them?
Yeah, so we were an early organization to the managed services space in our region. We adopted the principle of kind of a flat fee billing and outsourced IT and proactive IT management. We adopted those really early, and so it gave us kind of a running start in the market. But once we achieved a certain market penetration, it was certainly very challenging for us to continue to grow at the same rates. And so we've invested a great deal in our marketing efforts and our sales team's efforts, and great people. That's always the key to success there. Great partnerships, making sure that we do what we say and we maintain a high ratio on the retention side of our clients and our employees. But in terms of just going out to market and getting it done, at the end of the day, it's hard work. It's cold calling. It's going to different trade shows. It's getting out in the community. It's making sure people are aware of what we do, that we're top of mind, and that our reputation is of what I would describe as the premium IT provider in the region. So, when people have a problem and they're fighting or they're not happy with their current IT support for whatever reason, we want our organization to be the first thought that comes to people. And so it's both a brand awareness through the community, through the relationships, and just the hard work and making the contacts that exist. And, I would love to say that there's some magic sauce, but at the end of the day, it's just raw hard work, I think, that gets it done.
Right. Now, do you find that current systems and processes you have in place right now on the marketing and sales fronts are sufficient in hitting your goals and objectives, or are there some rocks in the way that you need to break apart and get out of the way to hit your targets?
Yeah, definitely do. We've invested a great deal and shifted a lot of our investment from what I would describe as kind of a traditional sales force into more of a marketing approach. So the inbound marketing and social media marketing and some of those things. And the team that we've been fortunate to put together does a fantastic job for us. And so the big rocks that we've got to continue to break through is how do we make sure that we're in the right places at the right time from a branding and recognition perspective, so that we are aligned with the pain that a prospect might have. So whether it's a bad support experience, instability in IT, security problems, business continuity problems, whatever those are, we need to be top of mind at all times for anyone who may have those problems in our markets in the future. And so I think the biggest challenge is having enough capacity in our business to create the content and the awareness in all of those areas, so that when people have those challenges, that we're the first place to call. We've made incredible progress over the last 18 months in that arena, but you can never do enough to make sure that you're in that top of mind position. And so we're constantly evolving and working and adapting our marketing strategies in order to continue to grow that top of mind awareness.
Right. And this kind of segues a little bit into a later question I have for you, but top of mind awareness is really important. For sure, I think you agree with me that getting top of mind awareness for everyone isn't really optimal. There must be a focus, an ideal client that you're looking to target to build that top of mind awareness.
Absolutely.
Can you share who your ideal clients are and how you're targeting them, how you're marketing to them?
Yeah, sure. So the ideal clients are small to medium-sized businesses. So 250 employees and down is who we target most of. But we have clients that have 2,000 employees. We have clients that have 10 employees. But the kind of the core target is in that range of kind of 20, 25 up to about 250 clients employees within their business. And computer users is how we define them. In some environments like manufacturing, we'll see that they have twice as many employees as they do computer users. We're focused on that computer user segment. And we do focus in some verticals, the regulated fields, banking, healthcare, any kind of financial services, law firms, CPA firms. We do manufacturing. We do education. We kind of stay away from the retail space. So we're not focused on businesses that have a point of sale system and are working, until 10 o'clock at night at a restaurant. That's not our target client profile. But outside of that, we support many other styles of businesses. In the past, we have worked with air ambulance companies and emergency response systems and things like that. And so there's lots of opportunities in technology for us, but our core clients are ones that have an office environment or pseudo office environment, and are driving a line of business application, like an ERP management system or practice management system, and relying on that to move their business forward.
Okay. And how is your team targeting them with your message so that they can build the top of mind awareness with them?
Yeah, there's every industry or vertical is a little bit unique when it comes to that. In the as an example, the banking industry, which is probably our fastest growing vertical right now. So it's going to a lot of the banking trade shows in our markets and helping, providing presentations and content around what it means to run a properly managed environment, a secure environment, talking about the challenges, understanding what it means to be a community bank, understanding what it means to be a financial services organization. So a lot of the trade show focus drives our awareness in some of those verticals. Others, it's online presence. It's people who are doing the research online. I think the latest statistic that I read was that 80% of people are engaged in a sales process on the website before they ever, engage with a professional sales team. And so your online awareness has to be be very strong. So it's the social media aspects and targeting social media ads towards verticals and individuals who are in certain positions. So the CEO, the CFO, COO in a law firm or in a CPA firm or whatever it may be, business professional that would be in a position to make those decisions or areas of responsibility. So really focused in on what it means to target those individuals on their terms, so that when that pain arises, we're top of mind.
Right. Now, I took a look at your website, and I didn't really see that your company's currently running pay-per-click ads. Is that something that you've experimented with and found it wasn't working so great for you?
We have experimented with it. We do a little bit, but not a ton. We're doing more of it on the social media side than we have on the traditional search side. We do some, but again, it doesn't seem to be a consistent way to get the kind of results that you want. We find that by developing content, ebooks, and the blogs and the white papers that help people to be successful, so that they're using that as reference material. So what does it mean to be a CEO of a bank and have a good IT environment? And so we've got content that helps people to put their head around that and understand it in a succinct way. And so it's creating the value before they even engage us in a sales process that we have found to be more effective.
Right. Now, how are the CEOs of the banks finding your white papers and your blogs? I mean, the internet's an infinite library, right? So how are they finding your content?
Well, search is a big part of it, but email management is another piece. We're sending it out to targeted lists of people that we've gathered from either trade shows or purchase lists or whatever it may be, and so we're bringing that back to the table and saying, okay, here's a list of CEOs of banks that might be interested in this content. So we'll shoot an email or mail them something directly. That still gets some traction for us, not a great deal, but a little. And so we're just doing things to try to create value to snag their attention, so that they can see what we're producing. And if we can get them following us on social media, we produce a tremendous amount of content and make it available through links on the social media platform.
Now, by social media, you're referring to LinkedIn, or are there other platforms that you're finding the decision makers are hanging out on?
Yeah, LinkedIn, Twitter, a little more on Instagram of late. We still do Facebook. It's a strong platform for us as well, in targeting, the business professional and doing some of those kind of things. But all platforms kind of coming together and working together. Certainly LinkedIn is strong as well.
Yeah. Now, Instagram, you mentioned Instagram. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think people with IT interests would be following your content on Instagram so much. How's that?
Yeah, it's new, and we're not doing a ton there, but we're starting to see, as the generation shifts, the decision makers are younger than they used to be, and many of them are engaged more on Instagram than they are on Facebook, and so we're going to where the clients are, and if they're an influencer or a business decision maker, and they're following their friends or kids or whatever it may be on Instagram, we want to be there too. So it does require a diverse strategy.
Right. Interesting. I have to check out your Instagram content to see how it looks. You're showing pictures of a server and getting people to go, wow.
Ironically, our biggest posts are the ones where we're bragging or sharing something about the culture and the fun that we have inside the business, or an individual. We're talking about what it means to be a virtual CIO, or how we create a technology plan, or whatever it may be. It's those people interactions that really drive the engagement.
Right. Okay.
We put some fun videos up there too.
Yeah, I think that is key, making it fun, which is also one of your core values. So,
absolutely.
Now, three last questions for you. Say you were to have a billboard of your own, talking about JMARK. What would be your billboard message? And keep in mind that people typically, if it's a billboard along a freeway, they only have 6 seconds to see your message. So, what would be your billboard message?
Oh, wow. That's tough. Billboard message. I guess it would have to be around simplify IT, drive profit. I mean, that effectively is our goal, is to, any business grows, it needs to drive efficiencies in the business so that they become more profitable as they grow, more efficient as they grow. And our strategy is to make it so that IT consumes less of an IT budget by percentage as they grow over time. And there's a specific strategy to facilitate that. And so simplify IT, drive profit, simplify IT, drive efficiencies, user engagement. We've talked a lot about people. I would suggest that one of the number one challenges in the world that we're going to deal with for the business community over the next several years is human capital management, attracting and maintaining the talent that you've got. And there's a direct correlation between success in IT and the happiness factor that people have within a business. And so if we can simplify it and make it a great experience, then it helps with that retention of our clients, which obviously drives efficiency and profitability. And so it would be focused on that.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you come across IT of any sort in any encounter that's frustrating, it creates unhappiness, right? Whether it be internally within your company, or even just going to a ATM at a bank and not being able to use it because the buttons aren't working, right? It's no one's happy when that happens. So
yeah. Don't worry, be happy. We got you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Don't worry, be happy. You have a little Bob Marley music playing in the background. So,
there you
go. In terms of your ideal clients, can you recap that again and also mention the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. Professional organizations that are focused on IT as an enabler inside their business, between about 20 users up to around 250 users. Obviously, we take on clients that are just a little bit outside of that box as well, but organizations that want to use IT to drive success within their business and understand that comes with an investment. And we invest for the future, and that's how we look at IT, and it facilitates that success. So financial services, healthcare organizations, professional services business, manufacturing, education, you name it, we drive into that world, and we make sure that we can help others to be successful. We also do a lot of work in the hospitality industry, and so we focus on hotel management companies and help them to manage IT within the hotel properties. And so it's an area of focus for us, that we have a whole team dedicated to support individuals that do that.
All right. And the best way for these companies to contact your team?
Yeah, so either from the website or you can just send us an email at support@jmark.com, and we'll make sure that it gets routed to the right person.
Awesome. And I know that the JMARK might be interpreted in different ways. Would you like to spell out your domain name?
Yeah, absolutely. It's JMARK.com. Thanks
Awesome.
for that.
No trouble. And what's the story behind your name? How did JMARK come into being?
Yeah, it's a fun story. So the guy who actually founded the company was a gentleman by the name of James Montgomery, and he was a junior. And so he used to sign his name JM, JR, and his friends came to call that the JMARK. And so when he created the business, he turned his kind of trademark name or initials, JMJR, into the business name of JMARK, and so we've maintained that over the years. I was fortunate to work with James for several years, and then purchased the business from him in 1997, and so we rebranded and relaunched the company shortly thereafter, and we had at the time downsized it to about 6 people, and now have grown it to well over 100.
Yeah, it's a good name. It's memorable, and it's nice having a 5-letter domain name. It's not so easy to get those.
Yeah, that's fact.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us today, Tom, and sharing how you accelerated your company's high-value sales.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
We've been speaking with Tom Douglas, the CEO of JMARK Business Solutions, about his company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing high-value sales companies, or to learn how we can accelerate your firm's high-value sales through automation, visit eversprint.com.